Let me ask you something. If I gave you 1 extra hour every day, what would you do with it? Would you learn something new, work on your health, build a skill, read a book? Or would that hour disappear into your phone, just like yesterday's did? Because here's something most people don't realize. Your life doesn't change in one giant moment. It changes through the small things you repeat when nobody is watching. And sometimes, all it takes is 1 hour a day. This is the story of a young man named Arman, who believed he had no time to change his life, until one old man showed him that the problem wasn't his lack of time. It was what he was doing with the time he already had. Arman was 24 years old and lived in a small town surrounded by green hills. Every morning, he woke up at 7. He rushed to work at a small repair shop. He spent the entire day fixing machines, carrying tools, answering customers, and doing everything his manager asked. By evening, Arman was exhausted. He would come home, eat dinner, lie on his bed, and pick up his phone. 10 minutes became an hour. An hour became 2. Sometimes he stayed awake until midnight watching videos and scrolling through social media. And every night before sleeping, he made the same promise. Tomorrow, I'll start. Tomorrow he would exercise. Tomorrow he would learn graphic design. Tomorrow he would read. Tomorrow he would finally work on the dream he had been thinking about for years. But tomorrow always remained tomorrow. One Friday evening, Arman received a message from an old school friend. His friend had started a small online business. He had been learning a digital skill for the last 2 years. Now, he was earning enough money to leave his old job. Arman stared at the message for a long time. He was happy for his friend, but somewhere inside, he felt something painful. Why am I still standing in the same place? He looked around his small room, the same walls, the same old desk, the same unfinished notebook, the same dreams. And suddenly, he felt tired of making excuses. The next evening, Arman sat outside the repair shop after closing. His head was down. An old man named Elias, who owned a small bookshop across the street, noticed him. Elias had watched Arman come and go for years. He walked over and sat beside him. "You look like someone who has lost something." Arman smiled sadly. "Maybe I have." "What?" "My time." Elias laughed softly. "Time is one thing you cannot lose." Arman looked at him. "I work all day. I have no time to learn anything. I don't have enough energy. Other people started years before me." Elias was silent for a moment. Then he asked, "How much time did you spend on your phone last night?" Arman hesitated. "Maybe 3 hours?" Elias raised an eyebrow. "And you say you don't have 1 hour?" Arman looked away. Elias reached into his pocket and pulled out an old mechanical watch. He placed it in Arman's hand. "Give me 1 hour every day." "1 hour for what?" "That depends on the life you want." Arman looked confused. Elias continued, "If you want a stronger body, use the hour to exercise. If you want knowledge, read. If you want a better career, learn a skill. If you want to build a business, build." Then Elias looked directly into his eyes. "Your future doesn't need all of your time, Arman. It needs 1 hour of your best time." Those words stayed with Arman. The next morning, Arman made a simple decision. For the next 30 days, he would give 1 hour to his future. He chose graphic design. At exactly 8 o'clock, he turned off his phone and opened a beginner's course. The first lesson was confusing. The software looked complicated. The shortcuts made no sense. After 20 minutes, Arman wanted to quit. But he remembered Elias. 1 hour. So he continued. The next day he did it again, and the day after that. For 1 week, then 2. Nothing dramatic happened. He didn't become successful. He didn't make money. Nobody praised him. But something was changing. He was becoming someone who kept promises to himself. After 30 days, he looked at his first design and laughed. It was terrible. But it was better than having nothing. He saved it in a folder. Then he created another and another. On the 43rd day, Arman came home completely exhausted. His manager had made him work late. He looked at his computer, then at the clock. He was tired. Very tired. Just today, he whispered. I'll continue tomorrow. And for the first time in 43 days, he skipped his hour. The next day, he skipped again. Then another day. 3 days became 5. The old Arman was slowly returning. One evening, he picked up the watch Elias had given him. He remembered the promise, but instead of feeling motivated, he felt ashamed. He went to Elias's shop. I failed. Elias looked at him calmly. How many days? 5. Elias smiled. Then you have learned something important. What? That consistency doesn't mean you never miss a day. Arman listened. It means you don't allow one missed day to become a missed month. Elias pointed toward the road. If you fall while walking, do you decide to stay on the ground forever? No. Then get up. That night, Arman returned home. He didn't try to make up for the 5 missed days. He didn't study for 5 hours. He simply opened his computer and worked for 1 hour. That was the day Arman understood the real meaning of consistency. Consistency isn't perfection. Consistency is returning. Months passed. Arman kept going. 1 hour before work, sometimes 1 hour after work. Some days he felt inspired. Other days he felt nothing. But he showed up. Slowly his designs improved. One afternoon, a local cafe needed a new menu design. The owner saw Arman's work online. Can you make something like this for us? Arman's heart started beating faster. Yes. The project paid him a small amount. It wasn't life-changing money. But when Arman received his first payment, he stared at it for several minutes. Not because of the money. Because that money represented something much bigger. Proof. Proof that his 1 hour was becoming something real. A few weeks later, another customer contacted him, then another. His income from designing was still small, but it was growing. More importantly, Arman was growing. He became more confident. He became more disciplined. He stopped comparing himself to people who were years ahead. Instead, he compared himself to the person he had been yesterday. A year after meeting Elias, Arman walked into the old bookshop. He placed something on the counter. It was the same old watch. Elias smiled. You kept it? Arman nodded. I almost gave up. But you didn't. No. Arman looked around the shop. I thought changing my life would require something huge. Elias smiled. And what did it require? Arman looked at the watch. 1 hour. Elias shook his head. No. Arman looked confused. Elias said, it required 1 hour repeated hundreds of times. Arman smiled. That was the difference. 1 hour was small, but repetition made it powerful. A few years later, Arman had built a successful design business. He had moved into a small studio. He had employees. He had clients from different cities. But he never forgot the lesson Elias had taught him. One evening, while walking home, Arman noticed a young man sitting outside a shop. The boy looked frustrated. Arman stopped. Everything okay? The young man sighed. I want to change my life. What's stopping you? I don't have enough time. Arman smiled. For a moment, he remembered himself sitting in that exact same position years earlier. He reached into his pocket. Inside was the old watch Elias had given him. Arman held it out. Take this. The young man looked confused. What is it? A reminder. Of what? Arman smiled. You don't need to change your entire life tomorrow. You just need to give yourself one honest hour today. The young man looked at the watch, and Arman walked away. Maybe you're listening to this story while sitting in the same place every day. Maybe you have a dream you've been postponing. Maybe you want to learn something. Start exercising, write a book, build a business, improve your career, or simply become a better version of yourself. And maybe you've been telling yourself, I don't have enough time. But look at your day honestly. How many minutes disappear into scrolling? How many hours disappear into things you won't even remember next week? You don't need to find 5 perfect hours. You don't need to wait for Monday. You don't need to wait for the new year. You don't need motivation. Start with 1 hour. 1 hour of focused effort. 1 hour without your phone. 1 hour without excuses. 1 hour dedicated to the person you want to become. And don't judge the results after 3 days. Don't quit because nothing changed after 2 weeks. Give your effort time to grow. A seed doesn't become a tree because you stare at it. It becomes a tree because someone keeps watering it. Your effort is the same. You may not see anything happening, but underneath the surface, something is growing. Your knowledge is growing. Your discipline is growing. Your confidence is growing. Your identity is changing. And one day, you may look back and realize that the biggest transformation in your life didn't begin with a massive decision. It began with a tiny one, 1 hour, every day.
So tonight before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What will my life look like 1 hour from now? If I gave 1 hour every day to the thing that truly matters? Don't think about whole year. Don't think about the 100 hours. Don't think about how difficult it will be. Think about tomorrow. Then give yourself 1 hour, and when tomorrow becomes today, do it again. Because 1 hour feels small, but 1 hour every day becomes 365 hours in a year, and 365 hours of focused effect can take you somewhere completely different. So stop waiting for your life to change. Stop challenging it quietly, patiently, consistently, 1 hour at a time. My name is Arun, and you are watching Tales by Arun. Remember, you don't need more time to change your life. You need to use the time you already have. Start with 1 hour. Start today.